Hey, good morning. Welcome to CHSR 97.9 FM here in Fredericton, your only alternative radio station. You're listening to Instant Breakfast right now, and it is Thursday, and you know what that means. Yay! I have my co-host John Heinstein with me today, and I'm very, very grateful for that. How are you, John?
I'm great.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to your list this week. Go.
All right, we're going to start out with a duo from Moncton called Zaum, and that consists of Kyle Alexander, who is on the vocal, the bass, the sitar, and the synth, and Christopher Lewis on drums, and for some reason lights is
lights is an instrument.
Lights is an instrument with Zaum.
See, maybe I could get a job like that, doing lights as an instrument. I like it.
They self-describe themselves as a mantra doom. And this is what their tagline has. Zaum is a passage toward the dark realizations of ancient civilization in the form of a monolithic, doomy, mantra-based meditative experience forged by bass and drums interwoven by sitar and synth textures. Their live presence is very true to its recorded form, featuring McDonald singing. Observers experience a calming process of reality whereby the astral and physical planes can coexist and be understood from a natural perspective.
Wow.
It's kind of metal, partially metal, but it's more kind of a psychedelic, meditative, almost Buddhist-inspired form of metal, sort of soft and drony with some of the metal elements, you know, the guitar and the drums, but it's really not metal in the sense that people typically think of. The vocalist, Kyle Alexander, he actually does some interesting things live, including Mongolian throat singing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, do you know what Mongolian throat singing is?
It's kind of like the indigenous throat singing a little bit. Like,
yeah. That's
what I would compare it to.
It's a kind of singing that gives the semblance of singing a harmony with one voice, so two notes with one voice. They manipulate the flow of air through, your lungs and your vocal folds and through your lips, and it creates these resonances where it cuts out elements of the note, and you get the fundamental tone, and you get a harmony on top of it. So it sounds like two voices are singing at the same time.
That is amazing.
It's kind of like if you hold a prism up to light and it separates into its constituent parts. Well, it's similar to that, except in a harmonic sort of way. So it almost splits a single note into two different elements.
That is wild. I would love to see these guys. I haven't even heard them yet, and I already want to see them.
Yeah, it originates with male animal herders in Mongolia, and it's a type of singing that is intrinsically tied to the geography of the area. Mongolia is like a big open landscape with mountain ranges and things, and it lets sound carry for a great distance, and the singers will travel like way into the countryside looking for just the right river or just the right mountainside to create the right environment for their music. So it's tied intrinsically into the landscape.
That is super interesting.
So these are long songs on Zaum. So they have their latest album, Eidolon, which we're going to listen to part of a tune from. It's only 2 songs long, and I think they release primarily in LP format. So you've got one song on one side, one song on the other. They're both like 20-minute songs, 21 minutes each. So
wow.
But they just released a video, I think last week, and it's from one of the songs off of Eidolon, the Enlightenment, but it's a 6-minute version of it, so they call it Part 1. Really, really cool video. It's I'm just going to kind of describe the video for our listeners. So as you listen to it, imagine these images, and it's beautifully shot. I think they got a factor grant to do this, so obviously some money and some direction was put into this. But the video basically is this old man coming to in the semi-darkness, and apparently a long time has passed. He seems a little confused. He's in this small chamber. He's got tubes and a breathing apparatus connected to him, and he's talking to himself, going, "How long has it been? Hello. I'm awake now. Get me out of this place. Hello. Open the chamber. I can hear you. What are you waiting for? Is anybody out there? Please, I paid everything for this. So when he says that, you realize that he's in a setting that he's paid for. I mean, he's gone into this situation willingly, and then he says, I was promised youth. So he's an old man. Apparently he got into this chamber with the understanding that he would regain his youth at the end of it.
Is it going to make me cry? That's the bottom line.
It's not going to make you cry. It might
Okay.
make you a little scared. It's very creepy. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Creepy's
suddenly
fine.
we switch from this chamber to him laying on the cement floor. So apparently he got out, and then there's this weird hooded, robed creature with smooth black face. Almost looks like a sheet of asphalt across his face, and he's leading this man somewhere, and then they come up a flaming portal, and I guess he steps through. We don't know what happens after that. I imagine that would be part 2 of the video, but it's a really interesting watch. Yeah, and highly aesthetic and high quality of filming too.
Very cool.
Want to have a shout out to Factor. They're a funding organization for musicians in Canada, and they provide opportunities to musicians that they couldn't otherwise do the things that they do. Another thing that was Factor funded for this band was a European tour of theirs in 2016, and they went all over the place, like Moscow and St. Petersburg, and Malmo and Copenhagen and Dresden, Warsaw, Budapest, Vienna. That's just a short list of all the places that they went.
Wow. And where does Factor get their funding? Is it?
It's a federal government organization.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. So it's there to promote Canadian musicianship and artistry. And if there are musicians in New Brunswick who are unaware of this organization, they should check it out, because the funding opportunities are real and significant.
That is super good to know. Great information for anyone out there who is looking to do something like that.
Europeans love their metal, so I can understand
Yes, they
why
do.
they did the tour. And Zaum is actually off a Swedish record label called I Hate, one word,
Okay.
all lowercase letters. Got to check out their album covers. Go to their band campsite, and they're like something out of a 70s Yes album, Tales from a Topographic Ocean or something like that.
Nice.
And so you can buy vinyl from them, and the vinyl actually comes in different colors, I guess. So the original one was your typical black vinyl record, and they named these albums by their color. So that one was the Void Black album. But then they have another version of that first pressing called Desert Orange, and it's sort of a bright orange. That's mostly out of print, but they've come out with a couple of new editions. There's one called Emerald Eye, which is bright green one. Limited release, 333 albums, and then there's this other really cool one called Swamp Haze. It's a cloudy green, semi-translucent album, and that one is all sold out. Unfortunately, it's the coolest one of them all.
That's why it's sold out.
Limited release of 250 albums.
Very cool. And are they marked like one out of? They probably are. 1 out of 250, 2 out of 250.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
imagine that they are, yeah. Their debut album, Oracles, was quite well received internationally, really. They say on their website that it was reviewed nearly 100 times. It's very experimental. It's very psychedelic. It's got some, Middle Eastern sounds and some field recordings in there. It's really hypnotic, really meditative. I would love to see these guys in concert.
Do they have any upcoming tours? Did you notice on their website?
I haven't noticed on the
Okay.
website. It's not well up to date.
Okay.
But the Facebook page would probably be the place to check. They are still going strong, from what I understand, and I think they put a priority on traveling and playing.
I can't wait to hear these guys. I know I'm going to be in love with them.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to say about Zaum right now, John? Or?
Now let's get right into
All right,
this.
let's play it. That was amazing. That was absolutely beautiful and creepy all at once.
It was very, very creepy, especially in combination with the video.
Yeah, if I didn't see the video, I don't know what I would think about it. I'd like to hear it again without the video and just see if I feel differently. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful.
I'm hoping that there's a part 2, maybe part 3 and 4, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
20-some minutes long. That gives opportunity for at least 2 or 3 more videos.
That's right. Zaum out of Moncton. Their video, The Enlightenment, Part 1. What do we have coming up next, John?
We've got a band out of St. John called the Backstays who put out just a single in 2018 called Dreams. It's a great single. They're a 5-piece band, kind of indie rock, I guess, but it's got this real sort of 80s new wave vibe. The singer's voice reminds me a lot of Midjord. Do you remember him from Ultravox? And he had a solo album out in the 80s called The Gift that I listened to over and over and over again. Yeah, sounds an awful lot like him. The name of their band, the Backstays, a reference to ship's rigging, and that's a rope that supports the strain on the upper mast of a sailing ship, and it controls the sail tension, but it's also a tongue-in-cheek reference to our tendency on the East Coast to travel away for work only to return home. So backstay.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are out of Moncton also?
Out of St. John.
Out of St. John, okay.
So not a lot of information about them other than that. Let's listen to this excellent single, and I hope that there are more to come. Dreams by the Backstays.
Down to the bottom.
Wow, what a great happy tune. I love it. The Backstays, and that was called Dream, and that looks like it was just released about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully there will be more.
Yeah, hoping there's an album to follow.
Love this next album cover. This is so cool.
Les Bluecharms. This is a band with Maggie Savoie. And
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's actually 4 women from Kedgwick, which is up in the Restigouche River region of New Brunswick up north. There's an album that came out in 2017. They'd been playing together for about 5 years before they put this together. Like, super talented group. It's kind of folk rock, some rockabilly, bluegrass, a little bit of gypsy jazz in there, some country, like a whole mishmash of traditional sounds. And really well played. The one that we're going to listen to here today, Chômage Lounge, Unemployment Lounge.
That's my kind of lounge.
That's my kind of lounge too, yeah. It's more of the kind of gypsy folk tune, and just it's really, really great. The Maggie Savoie's banjo, guitar, dobro, harmonica, and of course one of the lead singers, and then Isabelle Savoie. Don't know if that's her sister or not, playing the mandolin and the bass, and also vocals. Then we have Louise Poirier on percussion, and Marie-Christine Alpin guitar on harmonica and voice.
Oh,
so like
man.
lots of vocals.
That is cool.
Yeah,
I
lots of
love
traditional instruments, and just a real live feel to this album.
So let's
listen
hear
to
it. Les
the
Blue.
Unemployment Lounge.
C'est décidé. Je mets ce chômage sans plus attendre. Non, 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 oui, non. Oh, 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 oh. Non, 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 oui, non. Je remplis mon blanc. Non, 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 oui, non. Oh, 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 oh. Non, 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 oui, non. Moi, l'Internet, je veux rien savoir. C'est en personne, je veux régler ça. Je prends mon finage, j'embarque dans mon char. Direction Service Canada. Non, 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 oui, non. Oh, 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 oh. Non, 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 oui, non. Non, 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 oui, non. Oh, 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 oh. Non, 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 oui, non.
Bonjour, welcome à Chômage Lounge. Qu'est-ce que je peux faire pour vous aider?
Pour vous faire une petite histoire courte, j'ouvre de simplicité volontaire. 50% de mon salaire vont faire la part passer l'hiver. Non, 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 oui, non. Oh, 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 oh. Non, 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 oui, non. Non, 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 oui, non. Oh, 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 oh. Non, 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 oui, non. Merci beaucoup, Service Canada. J'ai eu mon chèque sans trop de tracas. Maintenant, je remplis mes blancs. Je travaille au noir pour passer le temps. Non, 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 oui, non. Oh, 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 oh. Non, 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 oui, non. Non, 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 oui, non. Oh, 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 oh. Non, 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 oui, non. Non, 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 oui, non. Oh,
That's probably going to be my pick of the day, but we'll see. Fabulous. And you're right, it did incorporate just so many different genres, but that guitar, like you said, very reminiscent of Django Reinhardt, and I'm a huge Django Reinhardt fan. So, Les Bluecharms. What's next, John?
Well, we've arrived at our metal moment in the show.
Cool.
It's an album called Dump Eagles by the band Versus. It's a Fredericton band, came out in 2018, 5-piece, like super talented musicians. They play really loud and fast and heavy, as is typical of metal, but it's really surprisingly melodic, and there's like some great harmonies in there. You might recognize some of the musicians here. There's Connor McQueen, and I think they switched their singer to John Peters. Matt Bowie on guitar, Kyle Clark on drums, Andy McDonald on guitar, and Being Mean, it says on the Facebook site. Colin Steves on bass. A bunch of guys who came from some local bands like The Missing and She Roars. And
She Roars, one of my favorites.
Yeah, what a great band. And they didn't set out to be an original band either. They set out to be a cover band for this band out of Ontario called The Full Blast, out of the East, or Grid City Magazine, one of those magazines. There's a little interview with the guys, and one of them said that the band started out at what was to be a full blast cover band, and over the years evolved into what we are today. Kyle Clark, the drummer, was talking about this. We were trying to play the full blast, and they are so fast. They're the fastest band in the world. Bowie had a song that we'd been working on. It was not a song that would fit in any other bands that we were in at the time, so I guess they decided to put it to tape, and now they're an original band. The Dump Eagles album is called A Foot in the Grave.
That was very intense. I like that a lot. That was from Versus, A Foot in the Grave. I've heard of this guy, but I don't know if I've actually heard him.
Matt Comeau.
Is he in other bands, or is he just solo?
I think he's mostly solo.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from the Elsa Pogtog First Nations, which people might know of as Big Cove. It's just sort of above Moncton, in between basically the PEI Bridge, say, and Kuchipiquak, kind of up in
Okay.
that area.
Mhm.
I think he lives in Fredericton now, so he's First
Right.
Nation singer-songwriter. It's blues-based music.
Yeah,
He's
I
got,
see his name around a lot.
Yeah, he's got like a big voice, really powerful, husky and gritty, and a great guitarist too. Yeah, really good blues guitarist, really tasteful playing, doesn't overplay, doesn't feel like he has to play too fast. And this tune that we're going to listen to now, it's off his album Healing Process, and a song called Shiny Rings. I think it really demonstrates that great combination of vocals and guitar playing that he brings to his music.
And this came out, looks like, in 2016.
2016, that's
So,
right.
yeah. Anything else you want to say about this, John, or are we
No,
going to play
I
it?
think we should dive right into it.
All right.
Yeah.
Matt Comeau, Shiny Rings. Thanks for listening.
What are you gonna buy your friends with this time? Diamond chains hanging round your neck. Oh, you know you did yourself so wrong. Thinking fancy cars meant more respect. Armani suits, leather shoes, a Rolex watch, and you're still singing blues. Crystal champagne on a private plane. Ain't nothing in this world gonna alleviate your pain. Don't be a fool, money won't make you cool. Takes a lot more than dollars to make you rich. All of that gold, and you ain't got no soul. Them shiny rings didn't seem to change a thing. No, 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 no. Nobody answers your calls. You threw it in their face when they were down and out. You do too much cocaine. Everyone knows you're lame. You can't help to think about how you're going insane. Don't be a fool. Money won't make you cool. Takes a lot more than dollars to make you rich. All of that gold, and you ain't got no soul. Them shiny rings didn't seem to change a thing. No, 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 no. It's all over now. You're down and you're out. Daddy cut you out from his will. Ain't got no money. Everyone thinks it's funny. And a dealer ain't bringing you no pills. You thought you had friends, but I guess in the end, you didn't even seem to like yourself. It's too late for help. You're going to hell. You took the fastest way you get there. Don't be a fool, money won't make you cool. Takes a lot more than dollars to make you rich. All of that gold, and you ain't got no soul. Them shiny rings didn't seem to change a thing. No, 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 no.
Really nice, really talented. Matt Comeau, Shiny Rings.
He's got such a great guitar tone.
Yeah, it's very nice. I agree. Very smooth.
Yeah. I like it when someone doesn't have to play a whole bunch of fast notes to show their technical prowess.
Yes, agreed. What do we have coming up next, John?
We've got a tune from someone named Ginette Ahier, and we listened to one of her tunes earlier this year, a band called Wannabe Farmer, and they're on the Le Grenier label, and we played a tune that they had met John Anderson from Yes in a festival of guitars.
Okay, that's right. I remember now.
In Quebec. And he had really liked their music and offered to sing backups on one of their tunes. So somehow or other that all happened. They managed to pull this off.
That blew my mind.
So they have on their self-titled album Wannabe Farmer, there's a tune there called Floating Shack, and it's got John Anderson's distinctive voice on there from Yes. It's just an amazing thing, really.
It is amazing. How does that even happen?
Yeah.
You couldn't even imagine that.
A duo from
you can't make that stuff
Cocaine,
up.
New Brunswick, with John Anderson singing on their album. Yeah, isn't that great?
That is so cool.
I had stumbled upon Wannabe Farmer after listening to an album by Danny Boudreau. I don't know if you remember earlier in this year, Danny Boudreau had put out an album, I can't remember what it's called, Mes Légendes is what it was called, and he had a whole bunch of songs from New Brunswick artists collected on that, and one of the songs was called A Bientôt by Ginette Ahier.
Okay.
I haven't been able to find her version of that song, but I did find another really awesome tune here called Encore, fois off her album Taxi Miki, which came out in 2007. She sings in Wannabe Farmer with Mathieu Dastu, who I think is her musical partner and her partner in life. I think he's actually singing and playing and wrote the lyrics to this tune also. So this is a tune called Encore une fois, another time again. One more piece of trivia, she is not just a musician, but she has her own business called Adorable Chocolate. She's a chocolatier. It's a company that does fair trade, high-end chocolates, a very successful one.
Wow, and that is out of...
I believe it's out of Cocagne, Shediac region, maybe. Yeah.
Very nice. Ginette, I love that name too.
Ginette Ahier.
It's so pretty. Let's hear Encore une fois.
Je voudrais être ta peau, ta poésie.
Je voudrais être ton sang sanctuaire.
Je voudrais être ton nez, ton éclair chocolat.
Je voudrais être tes mains. Maintenant, pour toujours. Encore une fois, me fondre à toi, devenir ton pouls. Au fond de moi, tout de toi me rend fou. On se noue, on se voue, on se boit. Encore une fois, je voudrais être ton cou, ton courant aquatique.
Je voudrais être ta langue langoureuse, amante.
Je voudrais être tes fesses, festivité nocturne.
Je voudrais être ton cul, ton Cupidon. Encore une fois, me fondre à toi, devenir ton pouls. Au fond de moi, tout de toi me rend fou. On se noue, on se voue, on se boit, on se noie.
That was beautiful from Ginette.
Ahier.
Very, very, very nice. Oh, I recognize these guys.
Yeah, David in the Dark from Fredericton.
I love these guys.
Yeah, they're so good.
They
They've got
are
really
so good.
catchy indie pop rock.
Yeah.
They really play. They got tons of dynamics. They've got Jane Blanchard, who has just a fantastic solo album that I know you play all the time. And
Yeah, she's like been in our top 10 forever and ever. We love Jane here, as I always like to say.
when they came out with this album, Fire, Grid City Magazine said, Fredericton's David in the Dark is one of the greatest gifts of the year. And the East said, let's call it a breakout album. The word debut just doesn't cut it for David in the Dark's first full album, Fire. It's not sauntering about the room in an evening gown. It's kicking down the doors.
So we're going to hear Slap Happy,
Slap Happy.
which is a great track.
I was so young when the first bomb fell. I can hardly remember, but my pa told me stories about all the madness that overtook our city and the devastation that was left behind. And I recall, we lost it all. And oh, I recall, we lost it all. And I'm not going back there again. And I'm not going back there again. Then they built up that wall just to separate us. It cast a shadow that was cold and gray. And then all the people, yeah, they tore right through it, so we could all see the light of the day. And I recall, we lost
Okay, we're in a hurry now. So thanks for listening, guys, to CHSR 97.9 FM Instant Breakfast here in Fredericton. I've been your host, Tammie, with my co-host, John Heinstein. On Thursday morning, we have time for one more track. That last one was David in the Dark, Fredericton's very own, with Slap Happy. And it did make me slap happy. Okay, John.
Okay, so this is a band called, or an electronic individual possibly, called Bulletproof, Panther, an album called Belpazar, and a tune called Werecat from St. John. This is something that came out in 2018. I don't really know anything about this. There are no like external links, but on the Bandcamp page it says instrumental demo versions of Bulletproof Panther album. I don't think there's a Bulletproof Panther album. I think that's a tongue-in-cheek. I think it's there's a fictitious vocal album of which this is the instrumental version.
I love it. And again, I love that picture.
Yeah.
I had a Panther once. I'll tell you about him.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's jump
hear
into it.
All right. Thanks again, guys. See ya.